Hi, I'm Heather from Hey Booktubes, and today is the release day for Inextricably Tied, which is the sequel to Skin, which is the two books that make up the Lost Touch Duet by Aveda Vice. Dun dun dun! One of my favorite authors, like obsessed favorite authors. So I have been looking forward to this for a year. And I am super excited about it. So a couple of things. I want to tell you like everything I know from Skin before getting into this. Also, there will be a spoilers section at the end of the vlog, so I will give you a clear warning if you want to drop off before getting the spoilers so you can watch safely. I'll let you know spoilers ahead, and then we will get into the nitty-gritty. You need to have read this to appreciate it part, which I am wildly excited for. So this is a romantic suspense monster, polyamorous, queer, daddy dom kink, love triangle turned polyamorous, serial killer, mystery, romance. I'm so excited. So in Skin, we have Harper, who is the Banshee. That's not her name. Anything that she touches, she's connected to, whether it's an object or a person. A person obviously comes with thoughts and desires and feelings and like ongoing, constant feedback. So that is extremely overwhelming for her. It's very hard for her to like filter through her own thoughts and like her brain. Like she never gets rid of anything. Like it just is constantly squishing more space in. She uses her power for investigative purposes, so she will touch an item and she knows what's going on, right? But it also like kills her a little bit, I think. And then her longtime partner is Flynn. That's not his name. Or Flint. My memory is not great. We will find out because I'm gonna be reading. Also, like, I'm sick, so cool. He is a gargoyle. He can turn his skin into stone, and he is her partner slash bodyguard. And in Skin, he protects her from a hail of bullets, but also accidentally touches her hand with her glove off. And so now they have this connection, and then they bang it out because she can't have sex with anyone without forever being connected to them. And she obviously doesn't want to go back to her exes. Who does? Am I right? Size difference, make it fit, praise kink, daddy. She's chaos and he's like restraint, and I am so excited because I know we like get scenes in Inextricably Tied where he loses control. I can't wait. And then I know in Inextricably Tied, honestly, Aveda, like why did you do that title? Because I am never going to be able to say it effortlessly. It's gonna take effort every single time, and that's just not nice. Also, Aveda is trying to make me cry, like actively trying to make me cry, so we'll see. Also, there's like religious trauma in here, which I tend to avoid. I don't love. I don't want to cry. We're going to actively try not to cry. I can't wait. I cannot wait to read this scene. So in Inextricably Tied, we get someone who is a night terror that is taken from a serial killer. And I think it's the serial killer that we're trying to catch, but I don't know for sure. And he is also chaos. So we have two chaoses and one control. I think that's like everything that I really know to expect. I don't remember what the night terror's name is. Agony? I think it's Agony. Literally the only one you got right is the one you hadn't read yet at this point. You want to explain that? I am going to be reading that today. If you like follow me on Instagram and watch all my videos, then you know that I've been on the struggle bus, and like I missed my stop on the struggle bus, and now we're going around on the loop again. None of it's like major, but it's just all things that make me not have a good time. So that's where we're at. But I have been looking forward to this for a year, and nothing can ruin it for me, so I'm very excited. I do not know if or when ever I've done a one book only dedicated reading vlog before. So I have no idea how many people are going to be interested in this, but I don't care because this is what I want to make. So there you go. All right, I will check in after I've actually read something of this book. Hey, PSA. If you see Aveda in my comments, it's because we are mutuals. Spoiler alert, I enjoyed and loved the book. Because of that, I've tagged them, I've invited them into my space because I loved the book. That does not mean that I loved the book because we are mutuals. If I didn't enjoy it as much as I had hoped to, I simply would not have tagged them and invited them in, right? I only tag authors if it is an enthusiastic response to their book. And obviously, if we are mutuals, sometimes they will comment on my video because I invited them in. And so just want you to know, no boundaries are crossed. If you see them, you know, that's because I was like, hey, I read and loved your book. If you want to watch a whole video of somebody reading and loving your book, here it is. Okay? All right. Thanks. Bye. Okay, see, this is why I can't have nice things, because my cats knocked over my flowers, spilled the water everywhere, and shredded. See all those loose petals? Shredded a bunch of the flowers that I need to take Instagram pictures. So they suck. Check out my Villains Do It Better shirt and my Villains Do It Better mug. I'm clearly dedicated to this sentiment. So cute, I love it. I could buy so many more things with this. Also, it is like super common for me to film and then put my hair back and take my makeup off. Like, you guys see me so much more polished than I go through life as. I cannot stand having my hair down. I hate it. I get so flustered if I'm trying to do anything with my hair down. It feels like a weight around my neck. I can't do it. I hate it. So my hair is always back. Normally it would be in a bun or a ponytail, but right now it's not long enough for that. But like my hair is always up. Well, I specifically took the makeup off right away today because headache and sick, so I'm blowing my nose a lot, so, which means all the makeup would come off my nose. And then it would just be like the eyes and the edges of my face, so that's a problem. But just like this is how I go through life. Okay, I'm gonna show you what I'm making for supper real quick. I call it ranch taco chicken. I definitely did get this recipe from like Pinterest or something a long time ago, and I just tweaked it myself. So I've got frozen chicken breast in here. I often do chicken tenderloins, but I've got chicken breast this time. And then I'm going to put my adobo seasoned salt. This is my favorite seasoned salt. Like, I grew up on this. It's just my favorite. Like, I crave it. I'm gonna put that and taco seasoning. This is a random one that I had my husband get at the dollar store. And then ranch. You literally just cook it and it's so good. So this is what I'm gonna be making with Puerto Rican yellow rice for supper and zucchini. I'll show you all that later. But for now, I'm gonna pop this in the crock pot. Okay, this is what it looks like. I'm definitely a dump type of cooker. Like, I just throw things in and that's good. I don't measure anything. I just throw everything in. So this is what it looks like for now. I'm going to tell you, I don't think it looks the greatest, like visually appealing, but it is delicious. Okay. Hi, listen, if you're super shaky, I'm sorry. I need to eat, but I would need to get up to get food. And I don't want to do that. So right now I'm very shaky. So some of us just have low blood sugar and pretend like we don't. Harbinger is the name. I'm pretty sure I called her Harper. I don't know. And Flint. So Harbinger is the banshee. Yeah, that's still not right. Flint is the gargoyle. I'm on page 1. And it's like 12:30 or something. So not going great. But I did edit a video I needed to do. And did laundry. And started the chicken. And yada yada. You get my point. Starting the book now, okay? And I know, and I will eat. I will eat. Don't worry about me. It's fine. Everything is fine. You wanna say hi? Hi. Okay, it is now dinner time. I've read one chapter of the book, so I am honestly failing. But we're about to make Puerto Rican yellow rice. My mom learned this from an Italian who is neighbors with Puerto Ricans. And so this is the recipe as passed down to me. Could be wildly wrong, I don't know, but this is how my family has always eaten it. Okay, so I already rinsed my rice. I've got 3 cups. I'm going to put in probably a third or half the jar of this Frito, a packet of Saison, which I know Jean from Romantic Deception was going to tell me alternatives to Goya, because I think that like their CEO said some very questionable things. I want to say is the thing. She hasn't told me what that brand is, and I already bought this, so Goya it is, but they are questionable. And then whole roasted red peppers and green olives. And I'm going to put some of the juice of these in here and then fill the rest with water, but I'm doing water last. So I'm going to do that. Okay, zucchini, chicken, rice.
Chicken rice?
All right, listen, I am about to go on a live with Steph at Novelty Corner about Australia and questions that Americans have about Australia. But I was reading some, and we just like got the night terror right, and that like magical FBI agent can choke on a rock. Like, I've known this elf man for 30 seconds and I hate him so much right now. Hi. Okay, so the book came out on Friday and I barely read anything on Friday. I read like 10%. And then I did the Australian live show with Steph. And then Saturday, I ended up doing reading sprints with Bree from the Black Booktician on her Patreon. Had a wonderful conversation with her. We were doing reading sprints, but I was mostly editing videos and stuff. So then I barely read anything yesterday. I scrubbed my entire fridge out. I got a lot of stuff done, but reading was not high on the priority list. And then today, what time is it? 5 o'clock. I have read a good bit, so I'm 60% through now. Well, I'm 58% through. Did my grocery shopping and everything. Just got all of that put away. And my husband was like, go have your alone time. So I'm very happy about that. So I'm going to relax in my room and read. So far, a few different things. One, I thought that her power was killing her, and that's why she has the black like smudges on her fingers that like seem to be going up her arms. I thought that they were like growing with like as she used her power and would eventually kill her. That is not accurate. I don't know why I thought that, but that's not right. It turns out that different banshees have different abilities, and they have the black smudges kind of wherever their ability is. So because her ability comes from skin touch, from touching you, there are others who have like the black around their eyes or their ears or their mouths. They all have like the skeletal appearance, but the black smudge is indicative of their powers, okay? And so that's unique to different banshees. So I was super wrong on all of that. But the cool thing about it is, you know, reading this full length, you get so much more explained to you. And I'm really enjoying like learning about the characters and learning about the world. So the last time I checked in was they just met the night terror Agony. Also, shout out to Megan from Meowth Vader, who informed me is pronounced Harbinger, not Harbinger. So Harbinger is the banshee, Flint is the gargoyle, and Agony is the night terror that is taken from this serial killer. And the 3 of them were 60% in, and they still haven't taken the handcuffs off of the night terror. They are trusting him more, but they are very much unsure of if that is a ploy to lower their defenses and lull them into a false sense of security, or if they can trust him. Harbinger is obviously much more inclined to trust than Flint is. Flint is very protective, and he is very risk averse, and we find out more about that, but very risk adverse, especially when it comes to the protection of other people. The night terror can feel what Harbinger can feel. So normally Harbinger's connection is like a one-way connection, but it's not really completely with the night terror, and some of it is that he's not like a fully living being, even though he is sentient, but like he can go in her dreams, he can feel a lot of her emotions. So during sexy times, what she feels, he can feel as well. And so we're 60% through it, and still they haven't done anything at all involving sexy times with all three of them. They're still not trusting of the night terror, but there have been thoughts from everyone, and we're getting all three characters' POV, which I am super enjoying. So all three of them have definitely thought about it, and they're all like aware that they thought about it, and they're having to spend so much time together that even though they don't really trust him, they're together all the time, and so much of the emotional and mental connection with Harbinger is there that they are sharing information and stuff and are trying to make each other comfortable because they're never apart from each other, so it just goes smoother if everyone is okay. So we have gone back to the convent where Harbinger was trained to use her banshee powers, and it's definitely like a cult-like thing. There's an oracle that I don't think anyone sees or knows, but they say they got their powers from them, and they're like supposed to honor them, and however you use your powers, it's, you know, to spread the message of the oracle and stuff. And Harbinger is definitely the black sheep, the one who left, the one who didn't fall into line. That's been interesting too. They have not made a lot of progress on the case. In fact, the only reason why they go back to the convent is because they really don't have any other leads, and they just like, this is it. They need some sort of lead from here, and that's why Harbinger is willing to go back. And we find out like just how much Flint and Harbinger have not been communicating with each other, and how much they haven't shared. Like, they have very surface level, know everything about each other, but they haven't shared their past and their trauma and their feelings and all of that. And Agony is definitely helping them do that in some ways by being annoying and saying things that maybe he should let go, but in other ways it's just like what they need. So I feel like we are really going on an emotional journey here. So I am loving it. Today, you know, I've gotten to points where I like all I want to do is be reading. So I'm very into the book. I think I'll finish it today, no problem, because I'm actually reading it. And it's not really a super long book. It's just, honestly, reading has not been something I've spent a lot of time on the last couple days. So we are actually like 60% in, about to have our first threesome. So I'm gonna go read that. Okay, I'm 75% in, and we have had a cameo from the group from Bound. Their pack is involved. We've had a couple of sex scenes with Agony involved, and we finally just admitted feelings. That's so sweet. Okay, these are my ingredients, and my husband's gonna be my cameraman while I show you the process. It's not really that big of a process, but he's gonna be my cameraman. Yeah. Is it recording now?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. So, depending on the size of your cup, you can either do like a big punch bowl of this and do the entire container, or in a cup you can just do like 1 or 2 scoops of your ice cream. Alright, come over here. So I'm gonna do 2 things of ice cream, raspberry sherbet, which is the superior sherbet, just for the record. You can use pretty much any cranberry pomegranate mix. This one's cran raspberry. I'm gonna do like half of the cup with the juice, and then you can do raspberry ginger ale, but I only found blackberry ginger ale, which is a really good option. Half of that. You're gonna have lots of flavored bubbles, and that's it. Voila! Since we don't want to use
My name?
right, maybe we should start calling you Big E.
No.
What if we called you Mini E? I thought it was a good idea. There's an entire wrestler named Big E. Normal size D.
No.
Tell them what you're gonna do today.
What?
I don't know. What are you doing today?
I don't know.
You're gonna play me like okay?
Mm-hmm.
You going to have screen time?
Yes.
Wow, so we're sure about that one little factoid?
Yes.
I hope you know you are getting disgustingly large. What if we just didn't grow
No.
anymore?
No.
What if we just did not turn double digits?
I don't want to do that.
In fact, what if we shrunk a little bit?
No, I want to keep going. Turn double digits.
Then you will be taller than me.
That's the point.
I will dislike that.
That's the point.
Wow. You don't want to make your mother happy?
I do, but I want to be taller than her.
Wow. Who said that was okay?
Me.
Denied.
Still able
You reach
to do it.
5'5", you're gonna have to stop so that I'm actually taller than you.
No.
So you can say what you want. He doesn't want to say anything. Regular E, would you like to tell us what you've been playing lately?
You got that part out.
I assume that you've been playing Minecraft.
Yes.
And what have you been doing in Minecraft?
Bed Wars.
What is that? Explain it for the people.
It's a game in Minecraft where there's a bunch of different teams. Each team has a bed. They put a bed defense on it. If your team's bed gets destroyed, unless you're playing
Their
with
bed?
solos, yes,
Okay.
then you only have one life. So if you die when you only have one life, you just have to spectate the game, or you can leave. Either or, but you can't get revived.
Okay, so you can stay and watch
Yes.
other people,
Yes.
but that's it. Especially with llama-shaped pickaxes.
That's because a llama is Fortnite's mascot. Doesn't mean all of the pickaxes are llama shaped. There's like 2.
I know, but the llama ones are funny.
They are.
Death by llama.
And he came out with the full diamond. Like, how? The game just started
it
5 seconds
doesn't sound like a stupid idiot. It sounds like somebody who took your strategy. He got exactly what you wanted.
No, he got the diamond helmet, diamond boots, diamond sword with sharpness 5.
How's that different?
I was getting an iron helmet, iron boots.
Wouldn't you
diamond
rather have what he had?
Yes.
Exactly. That's like your ultimate strategy.
Yes.
I hear your sister. Don't. Don't.
Opening fruit snacks.
Do you want these fruit snacks? Okay, then you need to use your words.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi. Also playing Lifeboat. It has a really cool game mode. When you spawn, you go straight. It's one with the tree and 2 people fighting fire swords. Bye. Bye.
Hi, I finished the book. I finished it late last night. I obviously didn't film then, I was in bed. So here are my non-spoilery thoughts about the book. So 1, Aveda does gender fluidity and pronoun fluidity and pansexual rep and polyamorous rep. They do it differently every time, and I love it every time. And so this one, Agony, the Night Terror, is really made up of like fiery shadows, basically. So he can do any sex organs he wants. He can do any shape he wants, and sometimes it's, you know, a little bit more humanoid-ish, but a lot of times it's not. So he can like completely wrap them in his shadows and stuff. So because of that, he's referred to as he, him, the entire time, but the first time that the sex acts are performed on him, he doesn't have male genitalia. And then he can also do, you know, sex with both of them at the same time, doing different things. It was so creative in in kind of the ways that the shadows were used, but then also I just really liked like that gender fluidity aspect of it. I thought that was very interesting. I thought it was different from the other ways that they've portrayed it in the other books that I've read by Aveda, and I thought it was really good, and I thought it added a lot to the story. I did give this book 5 stars. I do think for romantic suspense you might expect a little bit more action happening with the mystery, like, you know, they're actively being chased or kidnapped or whatever, and there definitely are kind of those conflict scenes where it's like, oh no, safety, but there's only a couple of them and not quite as much throughout the story as I might have expected for romantic suspense. But I feel like this is more, and this has been mentioned like many times in the blurbs and stuff, but it's more an exploration of their grief and their healing and their feelings and emotions with each other while trying to solve the murder mystery that is the reason why they are together, specifically with the Night Terror, right? Because that's the entire reason why they've met him and have him with them. So I was not really right about the mystery. I will say that. I did not cry. For those of you wondering, I did not cry. I was emotional about it. I was touched by everything. I really liked the pet names that they used. So Little Death, Jas, all those things. I really liked all of that. Plus, you know, the typical daddy, baby, those things. But I really liked their use of it. I really liked how Agony would use Flint and Harbinger's pet names for each other to kind of provoke them. I liked all of it. I really did. So, kind of final non-spoilery thoughts. I think that while this is a exploration of grief, I feel like it's kind of a safe version of it. For me, it didn't really rip my heart out, but it did touch on those things where the entire way that you go through life, especially with your connections to other people, is kind of affected by your loss and your grief. The murder mystery I thought was interesting. I thought it was done a little bit differently than we usually see in romantic suspense. That wasn't a negative thing, that was just slightly differently. I liked that Bound was tied into this. If you've read Feed and Insatiably Yours, you know Harbinger and Flint showed up in Insatiably Yours, and now in Inextricably Tied, the Bound characters featured in that. So I know Aveda has said that they are tying it all in, that, you know, it overlaps, which is why all of the novelettes, all the pre-novellas are in their own like series, which I think they've had some trouble with Goodreads like recognizing that, but Things with Benefits, I think is what the series title is. That's all of the novelettes. So they like share the same world and stuff. Then you get the full length. The relationship I really liked. I thought that because Agony was not bothered by how long it took them to trust him or anything like that, that made kind of the slow pace of it okay, because you weren't like, how can you treat him like this? Like, you're hurting his feelings. He was okay, so I felt like we were okay with it too. And I really liked the polyamorous aspects. I feel like we didn't get as many threesome scenes as I thought we were going to get, but the ones that we got were really good, and I liked that we also got 2-on-2 scenes. Also some scenes where like 1 or 2 of them weren't as involved even though they were present. I thought that was really good. A lot of great quotes in here, and I really liked the emotional growth and the communication growth, and I felt like a relationship that was building and growing and becoming deeper, and I really enjoyed that aspect. The religious aspects didn't bother me like I thought that they might, and so I was happy about that. I feel like because the religious aspect was made up, that maybe made it a little bit easier. But yeah, overall I just really super enjoyed it. I recommend. and I thought it was great. So those are the end of my non-spoilery thoughts. So if you don't want to be spoiled for this book, click off now. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to get into spoilers. All right, I'm going to talk to you guys about spoilers while I drive. So we know that Flint's sister was killed and that he killed her attacker. But I think that I sometimes have trouble understanding, like, justice, I guess. If, like, the person deserved what you did with them, I have trouble understanding the guilt that surrounds dishing it out. And that could honestly be my privilege, the fact that I have never had to really, deal with the consequences of inflicting harm on someone, no matter how deserved. But so he has a lot of guilt about it, and I don't really understand that. Like, that's always something that I'm like, but you're completely justified. He deserved to die. We understand all of his guilt, and we understand how much he doesn't trust Harbinger with her safety. Obviously, the trauma around telling your sister this is not safe and her doing it anyways and having like the ultimate worst case scenario happening would be enough to traumatize pretty much anyone. But then with Harbinger, I have kind of been under the impression, in fact, I was wondering this like 20% further back, I feel like. I was like, was I wrong? Because I was under the impression that using her ability was slowly killing her. And I feel like I got that from one line in Skin, but I might have just, misinterpreted it, which clearly happens. But we found out she's actually dead. Like, she died in the convent, and they're all dead. And so she can still die, so it's not that she doesn't need Flint's protection, but she can only die by someone, like, purposely trying to kill her. She can't die from sickness or any natural causes like that. So I thought that was really interesting too. And then Agony, I am making the assumption, like, I definitely have a feeling that once he gets the cuffs off, he's going to be able to contribute a lot more to the investigation than what he currently is able to with the cuffs on. Like, I think it's definitely hindering his abilities, and I think that we're going to see an immediate progression of the investigation once they finally take the cuffs off of him. I also really liked that we actually did find Poe and Omen, that we met people that Harbinger was comfortable with and did love and had a connection with. I really liked that addition, because the three of them feel very isolated, like they are each other's only people, only support system, and I'm usually not a huge fan of that. I really do like there to be some sort of support system, whether that's a really good family or a found family, or even like their co-workers, what have you. But they're pretty isolated in it just being them that they can rely on. And obviously Agony has been a wild card. Now, because we know that it's a polyamorous romance, we know that we can or will be able to trust Agony. But obviously they don't know that at this point. So that's kind of where I'm at on the spoilers. I feel like I think I'm a little bit past 50%, maybe 60, maybe not there yet, not sure. But I feel like when we finally see Flint let go, it's gonna be amazing. Which I've definitely had this like tease from Aveda and from other reviewers who got art copies, but I'm just like waiting. Like, stop being so careful, my dude. It's gonna be great. I definitely do feel like this is another guess on the spoilers, but I feel like the girls are not dead. So a couple different things. We had that drawing from Harold or whatever want to say the killer guy, he wants acolytes, is that the right word? Like worshipers, right? He wants to run a cult basically where he has followers, and no one was able to connect with the spirits of any of the girls or anything. That's part of why they were only able to connect with Flint's sister, and I think it's because the girls are not dead. I think the girls are alive, and he has them trapped in some way because he wants a cult. That's what I think it is. So that's my guess on that. And I think that's why the drawing kept showing him like wanting a cult, because I don't think the girls are dead. I think that they are in like a compound or something like that. And I think that it's going to be in the wilderness that they've hinted at. And also, I'm thinking, I might need to check, but I'm thinking that the pack, the timber pack, that's the pack in Bound, I'm pretty sure. So I'm thinking that we're on similar timelines. In fact, I might even be thinking this because Aveda hinted at this or mentioned this, so it could like not even be like something I came up with. I'm not really sure. But I think that they are on similar timelines, so it was mentioned that the timber pack is going to probably take a while to get back to them because there's been a lot of upheaval, and I think that is the event of Bound and or whatever Bound sequel is going to be. But that's what I'm thinking. Hopefully this sound was okay, but I'm gonna be done now because I'm at a red light, so this is perfect. Bye.
We got confirmed it is the pack from Bound, so. And things do not seem to be going well for that harpy. So 80% in, it was a trap. It was a trap. And as soon as they talked about the fireplace, I was like, uh-oh. So I'm a little bit confused about like who's actually in charge, the serial killer or the shifters, but well, they're not shifters, you know. They are humanoids with animalistic traits. They don't shift, but I don't know. I don't know who's in charge.
Final spoilers. 1, I can't believe they killed off Agony. I was like, are you kidding me? No. Now, obviously, I did have faith that we were going to have the resurrection trope, or I would have been so ticked. So I had faith in that. But I was still just like, no, I don't like watching them have to go through life without him. It's so sad. So clearly, I was completely wrong on the mystery. Completely wrong. So I think the picture was like the pack ties. The fact that they already killed like half their pack mates. Eek. So obviously I thought that the girls might be alive, but only Evie was alive. But I am glad that they were like able to rescue her. I felt like that makes sense with the kind of the more personal look we got into her family and her story, right? I also really liked their like meeting after the fact in the gas station. I felt like that was really good. And I was so happy with Agony. Like killing him and killing the other agents and stuff. I think he killed some agents, I don't know. I was really happy with that. I just didn't like understand, I guess, how he died. Like, how do you kill a night terror? Like, I'm not sure on the logistics of that, but I was so glad that he just like killed that. Censored, redacted. I also really like that Agony like does not feel the guilt that Flint feels, so like he can do it and it's not a burden he has to bear for the others. It's like, I have no problem doing this, let me do it for you. I like that. I also liked how Harbinger and Flint took care of each other through their grief, even when they couldn't give each other all of the care that they would have liked to because of their own grief. I thought that that was very touching and very emotional. The sex scenes where like Agony takes Flint, I was like, okay, wasn't anticipating this. And then
I really liked the scenes too where he was able to do all the things for Harbinger at the same time and not even necessarily like the exact shape of body parts. I thought that that was interesting too, like a good twist on it rather than just here's a shadow dick, you know. It was a little bit different. I loved Little Death. I loved Agony making Harbinger call him daddy, how they both called him daddy. I loved how they both looked at Flint for permission for things, but were also like bratty and chaotic on their own. I loved that Harbinger did take more care with the risks and did have like a growth in that way. Even during her grief over Agony, she still, well, she was like, I don't know if I want to be here. Also, I want to be with you till the end, and I'm not going to do that to you. I really liked that aspect of it as well. I think that the relationship and the way that Agony wasn't as uptight as Flint, but also would protect Harbinger in ways that Flint couldn't, or that Flint could loosen his grip a little bit and she would still be surrounded by care, was great. Honestly, it took me more than a minute to figure out that the Phoenix Fire was from the Vesta Alpha. It took me so long to understand that connection, even though I feel like it was explained multiple times. I didn't get it until like the very end explanation. Love that Agony killed everybody. Go Agony. I do, but I don't understand why Flint let down his rock armor. Let him just kill him too. I mean, I guess it makes sense that the attention was divided, but like maybe you could like go back, I don't know. But anywho, the healing scene where like all the blood was like going back in her body, I was like let's see, what else? I loved the ring aspect and how at the end it said that it glowed all the time because they could trust each other. And I love too that, you know, trust was kind of a thing that they struggled with throughout the relationship, especially at the beginning, and that ring was kind of a physical symbol that it was present. I thought that was super sweet. So yeah, I thought that the expansion of the world was interesting. The explanation for the setting for Bound was interesting, you know, the whole break. And I liked that we also saw more like paranormal races, I guess, and just very interested in what's gonna happen for the full length for Bound, because I am unsure how we're gonna pull that one off. I just am like, I don't know. But also, I will be reading it. So that's it. I think that's all my thoughts. As I'm editing, maybe I'll have more. But thanks so much for watching this very long dedicated vlog. And I hope you read and enjoy. Thanks. Bye.